You are now tuned in to the Project 365 experience.
This is going to be a little bit different. So, my friends over at Dynastie Sports Institute, they have a petition up where they are trying to get as many signatures as possible because we have to get our kids in Quebec adequate gyms. So, if you love me, if you love Quebec basketball, forget about me. If you love Quebec basketball and you want to help kids have better facilities, please, please, please do me a huge favor. Just take like 2 minutes out of your day. Not even 2 minutes. Take 30 seconds out of your day and go sign that petition. It would mean the world, the world, the world to me. As a kid coming from Quebec, we didn't have these opportunities, and now we have the ability to help the next generation go further than where we had. So really appreciate you guys. If you, again, like I said, it only take 30 seconds. Just go sign that petition, and you might change a kid's life. Now back to our episode. It is with absolute pleasure that I get to welcome a good friend of mine, Gabe Riché, the head coach of Dynastie Sports Institute. Gabe, welcome.
Man, I appreciate you having me, yo.
Yo, listen. Okay, so we had the unbelievable pleasure to have your sister on for episode 16. And I'm a big brother too, right? So I need you to tell me how proud of you of your little sister.
She's all right. She's cool. Nah, anybody who knows me knows how proud I am of my sister, man. To tell you the truth, everybody thinks she's older than me because she's so put together and she seems like the mature one in the family. Nah, man, the things she's been able to accomplish in her life at 30 years old, 31 years old, whatever she is. I mean, we could do a whole podcast just on her to tell you.
Yo, facts, facts.
But just so everybody knows a little bit, since you asked, she's currently the program director at Layup Basketball, and the work they do is nothing short of amazing, dude. Like, they serve over 1,000 kids in the Toronto area in underserved communities. They provide basketball programs, but more than just basketball, man. It's like they touch the culture of basketball, and they just bring everything together. From sneaker design to music to art to photography, tech. Like, they touch it all, man. And I. Obviously, it's not just my sister; it's the whole team at Layup. I got to shout them out because every time they do something, I'm amazed. But yeah, I'm super proud of her, and this is her most recent body of work is the stuff she's doing at Layup. So yeah, I'm proud of my sister, man. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And it's like it's so interesting because, like, I think, just being around her, being around the organization, being around people that have been in the organization, like, even for me, like, there's little things that you kind of like take from their approach to just coaching, and then you bring it to yours, right? What do you think is like the most eye-opening way that you think the new generation now is changing the view on how people coach? What do you think is different?
It's funny, man. I think, like, more than ever, we have a culture where you kind of have to be relatable as a coach, right? And there are a few exceptions. I won't say no names, but those exceptions are excellent. Are just like their basketball acumen is excellent. But I think more than ever, like, kids want to see players who've done it, but coaches who have done it before, who they can kind of relate to, who they can kind of understand, right? And that doesn't have to be the case, but I find that that's the times where you have kids buy in the most. If
Yeah.
that answers the question.
Yeah. Easy, kind of like you have something that they want to relate to, and it makes like kind of like the first touch point. It makes it like easy to
Yep.
kind of like the entry point. And it's funny that you're saying that, because I think we've all been coached probably by coaches who have had accolades. It's easy to just
Hmm.
okay, their selling point to you is that where you're trying to go, I've coached players that have been there. I have this many banners. I have this many banners. Da 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 da. To your point, what you're saying is that being a former high level player and having the chance to play a little bit in overseas as well, like what you're saying is like, oh shoot, like I'm able to relate to you to where you're trying to go, because what you did, I kind of did it, and I could still get on the court a little bit and show you guys
A
a little
little
more
bit, a
too.
little
You
bit.
know what I mean? And it's so funny because what I'm learning from this culture too is you don't have to be the same as everybody, right? So I'll give you a perfect example, right? So when I started my TikToks, there was a lot of pushback. They were like, yo, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? But come to realize that like a big part of it was just, it was easy for me to relate to players because on a sense, they already felt like they knew me
Yeah.
after I started making a couple of videos, right? So relatability has to be huge.
Hell yeah. And you got to give me the secret sauce, man. My Instagram needs a makeover. Social medias, I'm terrible, but you really got the juice, man. Yours is popping. But you're 100% right, man. I think like, just speaking the same language, right? And
Right.
and it comes with its barriers because I've like you have to be able to maintain that player and coach relationship, right? But like man, a lot of people who I've had the pleasure of learning from a lot of people over the years, and I coached 3 years at Champlain as an assistant coach, and I learned there, Dan Martin. I worked under Dan Martin, and he really is one of my mentors when it comes to his basketball stuff because his X's and O's are as good as they get. But he really believed in player-led teams, and the people who I've seen have success, are, at least at the SAGEP level, has been
Sure.
player-led teams, right? Except for Wayne. Wayne
Yeah.
don't Wayne don't play with that. Shout out Wayne Yearwood. But
Yeah.
but
My guy.
no, I think that's one of the things. Like it's tough to to empower your players and like have them lead the team and maintain that player coach relationship at the same time. Being young guys, you share that same experience. You're a young guy
Right.
and
Right.
a young coach in this game, so it's easy to get close to players and to wanna give them more leeway and to be friends with them. But at the same time, it is important to maintain that player coach relationship and that dynamic. Yeah.
So when did you go from playing? When did you kind of transition into coaching? And was there any pushback? Because I know a lot of times, like growing up, it was always like the players versus the coach in some bad situations. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
when did you kind of like, okay, transition into coaching, and how was that?
So first program I had the pleasure of coaching was Red Rush. So I got started. I did my coaching debut in AAU, like a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
young coaches. Shout
Mm-hmm.
out Red Rush, man. Burke, he does good work.
Mm-hmm.
He's working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was I was about 25. I had finished playing university. I just played finish university, and that was my first year coaching. And I still talk to a few of those guys today. Yeah, we had a good team, a special team. Um, but that was really my first experience. And at the time, kind of like young coaches, I was like, at least what I've seen in a lot of young coaches, I was like, it's my way or the highway, and we doing it this way, and that's it. And in
Yep.
retrospect, I knew nothing about basketball at the time, but I was convicted, and I was excuse me, convinced in my in what I thought I knew.
Yep.
Um, and so there wasn't too much pushback, especially coaching at the U14, U15 level. Guys listen, the guys will listen. So we always had teams that played hard. We always had teams that hustled up and down the court, really the Red Rush way.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and so that was really my coaching debut. And then while I was in Asia, um, I kind of Red Rush. Sorry, backtrack. Red Rush was my first coaching experience, and then I worked at Riché also with Flowick,
Yep.
and did a little bit of stuff at Champlain. So really kind of had my hands everywhere. But yeah, I wouldn't say there had been any pushback during those times. No,
Well,
not at those times.
so when I said pushback, I mean on yourself, yourself going
Oh,
into
hell
coaching.
yeah.
Because you're
Hell yeah,
like, yo,
excuse me,
I'm a
my fault.
hooper. I'm a hooper. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to.
No, so I got started. I got started here with Red Rush, and then
Yeah.
man, I have a weird playing career, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth. But I at that time was training like 5 in the morning almost every day. You know, we ran a Camp Falcons basketball camp, and I had a few young guys there, and we used to get after it early mornings. You know, 6 a.m. workouts, 5:30 a.m. workouts, and yeah, the hooper in me still had some stuff that I wanted to prove, that I wanted to accomplish, and so I went on over to Asia and did some coaching and some playing out there, and yeah, yeah, there was a little bit of pushback for myself, and still is to this day. Like sometimes I'm like, man, let me lace them up and get with these guys, and then the hips start acting up, and I'm like, wait, hold up, it's
Yeah.
not 25 no more. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely separating that player and coach identity is tough, man. Anybody who's been through it knows.
Yeah. What do you think is the most challenging part for a young coach when they first start coaching? What is the hardest part?
I would say seeing a game, man. Like you're still in player mode, right? For a few years after you're done
Okay.
playing, it's very rare to see young coaches who are able to just completely disassociate and go, okay, I'm in coach mode, you know? Especially at 25. That doesn't really happen. But I would say that, man, like seeing the game as a whole, and like to this day, it's been years that I'm coaching now, and I'm just now really starting to make that separation and that departure from my identity as a player, to that of just a coach. And like, you know the saying, you don't like you think you know until you start to learn, right?
Hmm.
So you think you know basketball because you've played your whole life, and then you
Facts.
start coaching and you realize you don't know a thing. You don't know a
Facts.
damn thing. So once you really separate you from yourself as a player, you start to understand the game in different ways. And sorry, like diverging a little bit, but I
Go
think
crazy.
I
Go crazy. Go crazy. Yep.
think I think one of the things that's tough is, as a coach, remembering what it was like to be a player, right? Like actually
Okay.
remembering, not just like, oh, this is what it was, yeah, cool, but like remembering what it feels like to put your shoes on when you're tired, and to wake up for your fifth practice of the week, and you're like, man, forget this, dude. Like I'm tired, bro. Can we chill today? But like just remembering the little details of being a player, I think is important, you know, and I think that it adds value to your coaching. And I'm a young coach, so maybe this is not true, but I feel like it adds an element of value to yourself as a coach, because you, like we talked about relatability, if you can still keep it fresh in your mind what it is to, you know, go through those 5 practices a week, which God, please don't make me do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But if you can remember what it is to go through those 5 practices a week, and really remember and feel, then you understand what your players are going through, and it adds a level of empathy that maybe it doesn't change your stance on what you guys are going to do, but maybe you give a guy a break when he really needs it, you know?
Right.
So
Right. Right. You kind of have a
yeah.
bit of relatability in a way to them playing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you finish playing, you start coaching a little bit, and you end up in this great situation at Dynasty. My friend Alex Victor is doing an amazing job at just having this platform for um, these kids that come from French countries, and just allowing them to just expand and showcase that they get basketball to one day achieve their dreams of going to college and being able to be professional. How do you and
Hmm.
Dynasty get how do you and Dynasty get hooked up? Timing is crazy in basketball. That's what I want to know.
Man, let me tell you, like before I dive into Dynasty and kind of how we got started together, I got to give Alex the hugest shout out, man. Like, you want to talk about sacrifice? Like, this guy, there's nothing that he doesn't do for these kids, man.
Uh-huh.
And he puts it all on the line for this program, and I think that's really what inspired me to kind of leave my previous job to come out here, man. Like, it's been about 3 or 4 years that Alex and me have conversations about myself coming to coach at Dynastie, and for it was never right time. Like you said, timing is everything. It was never really the right time. And this year he hit me up in February, and I just gone through some personal stuff, and it just felt like this is the way to go, And so I took a few months to make a decision because it was a big decision. But I had originally committed to coming on as an assistant coach to Chris Joseph, who's now at McGill. He did a tremendous job with those boys last year, man. Really and truly, like, what he did was special. The guys who were in that circumstance,
Yep.
they know what it was, but he really held it down for those boys and sacrificed himself a lot. But I originally accepted coming on as an assistant coach, and then, like I said, he got the job at McGill, which opened up the head coaching position, and it was just kind of like a hand and glove fit, or a smooth transition into that position. So I just stepped up and took it on.
What has it been like? Is it not more than what you expected? In the good way. Is it not like so rewarding to just be able to have all these things? Because listen, I keep up with everything in Quebec, and it gives me so much happiness to see stuff like that in our own backyard.
Yeah.
And in a way, it kind of shows the next generation the possibility that they could have stuff back home. Because
Yep.
me and you both know, like, just in terms of basketball in Quebec, we're a little bit behind in how we invest and how we surround and support our elite athletes. So just seeing like little things like that, and you having been an elite athlete and having to have gone all the way to the US, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like it's like, how has the experience been?
Man, just to be clear, it's a daily struggle.
Yep, yep,
I'm gonna keep
yep,
it a beam.
yep.
It's daily. Like, anybody who's head coach knows what it is, man. Like, every day you look in the mirror, you're like, yo, am I doing the right thing? Like, is this it? It's like, okay, cool. Like, it's a daily struggle, but I could not be happier. To tell you the truth, man, I couldn't be happier. Actually, I'm gonna be happy once we start really rolling, and once we really start finding our groove, then I think I'll be happier. But I like, in what we're doing, man, what you talked about, like, not to get into the whole politics because it's messy, but
Uh-huh.
we know there's a feeling in Quebec for kids that they have to go elsewhere to pursue their Division I dreams, right? And something that Alex talks about a lot is he wants to offer a program that dreams as big as the kids dream. So if the kids are saying they want to go to the league, like, we support that,
Right.
and a lot of people will be like, it's unrealistic. Cool. All right, cool, whatever, fine. But a kid is allowed to have his dreams. And more than anything, a kid is allowed to chase his dream. He's allowed to work for that dream. And all Alex tried to do with Dynastie is offer somewhere in Quebec that kids feel they can go in our own backyard, like you said, and chase those dreams with a program that wants to springboard them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's really what it's been, man. It's been reminding guys daily, who wants to go D1? Everybody puts their hand up. Great, shoot.
Yeah.
We'll keep it PG, but shoot. Get in the
Yeah.
gym, get extra work, get those weights in, get the extra shooting session in, work and practice. It's yeah.
Because
Yeah.
something that people don't talk enough about is, as a new coach, you come into this new situation. So you have to get the buy-in of your players, like, coming
Yep.
in. Like, you're a new coach, so obviously, like, players are gonna be like, okay, there's this new coach, da da da. How do you get How do you get everybody on board?
Man,
How do you
showing
get their
up daily.
buy-in? You know what I'm saying?
Showing up daily, man. And like I said, Chris did a tremendous job last year. He left big shoes to fill, So it's showing up daily, and it's funny because before you called me, before we started doing this podcast, I was writing down notes on how to further do that, and to me, it's just like I said, showing up every day. So attention to detail, like meticulous preparation, and yeah, my favorite guy, Nipsey, he said it himself. He's like, yo, I don't feel comfortable until I've prepared for every possible outcome. Until
Right.
then, I can't rest. And you learn as you go along the way. We never got it all figured out, but for me, my goal is to be as prepared as possible. I think also holding yourself accountable as a leader. That's something that we preach a lot at Dynasty is like, my team captain, I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, listen, team captain is cute until you really got to be that guy. Always the first one on the court, always the leader, always on time. Like your leash is, so to speak, your leash is this long. Everybody else's is this long. You gotta
Yep.
you gotta be able to step up to the plate as a leader. So for myself, it's holding myself accountable on a daily basis, and then in turn holding these guys accountable. And that's a
Right.
daily process, man. That's a daily process of I show up and then I ask them to show up, and I show up and I ask them to show up, and
Yeah.
inshallah it leads in the rest. We meet at the top and
Yeah.
we flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
so
for
yeah,
sure.
so yeah.
For sure. So talk about what makes this roster this year special.
I think anybody who steps in the gym can see what we have. We have from top to bottom, I would say a very balanced team. I think we're two players deep at each position, which for a coach is beautiful, and for a program is beautiful because A, obviously you have talent, and then B, like it creates competition in practice. So guys are going head to head. Like my point guards are going at tough point guards every day in practice. You know what I mean? My bigs are going against bigs every day in practice. There's no real there's no situation like if you go starters versus bench, okay, fine, a little bit of an advantage, but in general, when you mix the teams up in practice, it's like it's knee at knee, it's
Right.
head to
Right.
head,
Right.
so it creates for a competitive environment, man. So yeah, we're too deep at each position. Obviously, I think our size is impressive. We have a 7-footer who's still a baby, man, but he's
Yeah, I
he's a
know.
sponge. He's a sponge. He's got that touch, and he is a dog. We have a 6'10" power forward who he's coming off an injury, and he is slowly but surely really finding his rhythm. We got a great group of seniors, man. Like shout out Loic for sticking through. Shout out Alex Charlatan,
Mm.
Joachim. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Like my guys, those guys, they Modu. Like Modu is
From
another
time.
six
Yeah.
nine. Man, let me talk about Modu real quick. Like the kid is 6'9", can shoot, can rebound, can post up, is humble, works hard. Like that's the kind of guys we have on the team. So yeah, uh, size, talent. Um, we got some good guard play. I think we're a very balanced team, and like I said, man, we're still working to really find our groove. But I think once we get that,
Yeah.
man, like I got a 6'8" specimen coming off the bench, Jean. Like the
Yeah.
kid is 6'8",
Yeah. Yeah.
physical, can
Yeah.
handle the ball, can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to have as a coach.
Like this, I'm gonna date myself, but I used to coach against Gardi when he
Oh
used to
man.
play mini at Paget. Like all the way back, like when this kid was 11, 12 years old. And
First of
just
all,
to
let's
see
just
him,
get something straight. That kid was never mini. All right, let's just get that
never
out of the
mini,
way. He was
huge. He was huge. But it was just like, it's just nice to see him continue to develop. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of times, like when
yeah,
kids have a lot of success young, I tend to find that a lot of coaches don't push them, to be able to get to that next level. They kind of feel like, okay, kind of like either I've arrived or, hey, I'm having enough success, I don't have to. So they kind of like miss out. He's been blessed to go through everything that Page has to offer and then ending up with you guys. Because I think in a lot of situations, what a lot of coaches potentially could have done with a kid who is gifted with size, you know what I'm saying, at a super young age, is just like, hey, we're just going to take advantage of him with his natural gifts. But I'm not thinking about his long-term development. I'm just going to, you know what I'm saying, I'm just going to keep it and just have success like that. As a coach, it's going to fuel my ego. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we see this every day.
Yep.
Yeah. So how is it? Yeah.
No, but just like to speak to that a little bit, man, he's one of the guys who, like, I got to tell you, man, I couldn't be more proud of him. We all got a long ways to go. We all got work to do.
Yep.
But the kid has leveled up. Like, I met him 2 years ago with the youth play tryouts, right? And we had, and obviously he was extremely talented. But he was a young buck, and seeing who I see now, you have a guy who sacrifices his ego for the better of the team, who takes his licks. He takes it. He gives them out, but he takes them too. And he's humble. He works hard. Like, he works extremely hard in practice. He is wise enough to answer. He'll tell you exactly how it is, but he'll also listen when you have advice for him and when you have something to say. So I got to tell you, man, I'm really impressed with him. I was not that mature at 18 years old, or 17, 18, whatever he is. So I'm proud of him as a young man, and I think he's going to be special. I think he's going to be special.
You having gone in different situations, coaching and whatnot, right? We got the chance to talk a little bit, just through passing when we see each other in gyms and all that kind of stuff, right? So I want you to kind of like explain why player development, why is it so important to you?
Man,
and first of all, for people, what do you qualify as player development, and how do you portray it to give success to an athlete?
Well, there's two types of player development, right? There's like individual player development, so working on your personal skill sets, and then there's within the concept of team, right? So, for example, if you're a team that uses ghost screens a lot, working on your footwork and like setting the ghost screen and then coming out the ghost screen. So there's two different types of player development. In terms of skill sets, I mean, to me, it's the single key for guys getting to the next level. Not only because obviously you need the skill set to get there, but the mentality of always growing, always getting better,
Right.
always learning, right? Anybody who takes their skill development seriously, when you talk about, for example, our point guard, Khalil, right? Kid's making a lot of noise. It's not by accident. The kid's in the gym every single day, sometimes 3 times a day, man. He's like, it's 9 p.m. He's like, coach, you want to go shoot? I'm like, dude, give me a break. Give me a break. You said anytime, coach, but that kind of mentality is what gets you to the next level. So player development, not only obviously for the obvious, acquiring of skills, but for the mentality of always learning is the most important thing for a player to get to the next level. On that topic, huge shout out my guy Inti Salinas, man. I really he's come on board with us at Dynasty, and anybody who's worked out with Inti can tell you how special he is as a skills developer, man. This guy, he puts me on every single day. He is the Yoda of this stuff, bro. He's the Jedi master of skills development. He really has something special, not only in his understanding of the game and his understanding of individual skills, but in his teaching of it. He's extremely detail oriented. He understands how players' bodies move, how different positions' bodies move, and he's elite, man. He's as elite as they come. So
yeah,
I'm super blessed, man.
And offensively, when he used to play, you couldn't leave this guy open.
He had a strap. He had a strap. If he wasn't so little, he was
Oh man, problematic. So talk to me about your coaching philosophy. Um, I think one thing that I see and that I've always liked about you is that you've always coached with a lot of passion, a
Hmm.
lot of passion, a lot of passion, which is good. But your coaching philosophy, like which is now you're still kind of like forming what you want it to be.
Yep.
Every day there's a couple of pieces changing all the time. But what would you say is like foundational pieces of your coaching philosophy now?
Man, when I was in Asia, I had the pleasure to chop it up with a couple of coaches out there. One of the coaches, Rob Newsom, he coached in China, Vietnam, a bunch of different countries, and we were just talking exactly about this coaching philosophies, and his was unrelenting pressure, and that those two words really resonated with me because when I was young, I played for guardsmen, so I got the chance to play for Dave Smart and that system. I played for John DeAngelis at Champlain, so anybody who
Uh-huh.
knows him knows it's no joke. All
Yep.
right, I played for Craig Norman. I played for Max Paulus, all guys who I love them, but it's never good enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
and and that environment, they say pressure busts diamonds, creates diamonds or bust pipes. Like that environment for me is what really creates special athletes and special young men. You know what I mean? And I still finding myself as a coach. You know, I did 3 years an
Right.
assistant, and so I'm still learning and I'm still finding myself as a coach. But that for me is what I hope to to create is an environment of unrelenting pressure and of the bar constantly moving up. So okay, great. You could do, a left-handed layup today. Can you do a left-handed floater? No. Okay, great. Let's get to that. You could do a left-handed floater. Okay, perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just always what's next. It's never like, okay, great, I got there. Like I'm good, you know? So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So, what would you say for you the biggest challenge like that you saw, like especially now that you started off the season, right?
Hmm.
What has been a challenge?
Hey man, so I don't know when's this podcast being released?
Monday. We out
Oh
every
man, okay, so
Mondays.
we not going
Every
so
Mondays.
we gonna keep what's in the family. But
Yeah.
to me, as a young coach, it's kind of bridging the gap between the things that I've learned and who I am. You understand? Like
Okay.
like I said, spent 3 years at Champlain with Dan Martin, just learning to see the game differently. Like the the pure X's and O's of basketball, right? And so obviously that rubs off on you and you learn and you kind of get to see the game in a new light. And to tell you the truth, the way he coaches, the way he like the systems that he uses and the way that he coached, I really bought into because I can see how players who understand how to do that. So I'll just keep it mean. We run a flow offense, right? We really want guys to make reads and play off of what the defense gives you. And I truly believe that if players can do that, mixed with their talent and their athleticism that they already have, then you have yourself a bona fide Division I prospect. Because now any
Mhm.
coach at the next level can pick that guy up and say, okay, you're going to do this, boom, and that player can make reads. He's not just, okay, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this, right? So for me, teaching that at a high level and having the guys be able to execute it, it's a bumpy road, but it's the right road. And the right thing to do is never easy. If it's easy, something's wrong, right? So I would say that that's been the biggest challenge is really um, is getting that initial learning phase to to
Mhm.
to to go through. But the guys are great, man, and I got to shout them out because they come ready to work every day, and it's not easy, man. It's not easy.
It's,
So
it's not.
yeah,
It's not. It's not. Gabe, listen, I appreciate you so much. I got time for one more question. Ultimate goal for your team this year?
Oh, we want to win championships. We want to win championships, and my personal goal is to get these guys the scholarships that they want. Yeah, that's it. That's it, man.
Nice and simple, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
It is so rewarding too. Like you said, to see somebody else achieve their dreams and you knowing that you had a small part of it, like it's undescribable, the feeling that it has.
I just want to be a check on the journey, man. I just want to be able to have these kids, in 10 years, they reach their dreams, they got to where they wanted to get to, and they can say, damn, man, Coach Gabe believed in me. And that's it. That's it, man. Just in closing comments, I know you're a busy man. The game of basketball has been good to me, and in my life, it's been kind of my North Star, and I know that for me, my life's mission is to give back to the game and give back to those who give themselves to the game. And the group of kids that we have at Dynasty is a group of 12 guys. And by the way, shout out Ryan, our Coach Ryan, Coach Joe, Coach Inti, everybody who's involved on the coaching staff, Coach Stanley, who does the strength and conditioning on our team. Obviously, Alex, who's, without him, none of this is possible.
Yep.
I shout out those guys for showing up every day, but we have a group of 12 boys who, on a day-to-day basis, show up to chase their dream. So I'll do for them what they do for themselves.
That makes it easy too.
Yes, sir.
Any upcoming projects that we should be looking out for? Besides keeping up with your squad, because we know you guys are going to be must-see TV, whichever gym you guys go into.
Man, honestly, we
even for you personally, do you have anything? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always working on something. I'm always looking up something, But as a program, we are looking to expand. We currently have a petition out to get 2,000 signatures for the city to allow us to allow our expansion project. So we're looking to build Dynasty literally to the next level. So that's the biggest thing on the agenda right now, providing these kids with state-of-the-art facilities. Amazing.
Listen, you send me the link. We're going to post that link at the bottom of this episode. We have to contribute to what you guys are doing. Listen, I know Alex. I've gotten a chance to know you, man. I have love, genuine love for you guys. Anybody who is in this field, we know that in a lot of situations, it's not a job where you get the gratification right away. It's it's a very thankless job in a way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So people that grind, man, I just have genuine love. My brother, love you so much, man. And you keep going. It's amazing to see you thrive, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. And Oliver, I want to give you your flowers, man. You are killing this podcasting. You're killing your coaching. You're bro, mad love for you for doing what you do for kids from Montreal and for kids in the basketball community. Big ups.
Appreciate you, my man. So the listeners, we are going to post the link to that petition. We're going to post that at the bottom of in the description of this episode. So please sign and support all things Dynasty basketball. My guy Gabe, you have a good one, man. Appreciate you, brother.